I'm a food delivery driver. On a stormy night, I received a last-minute order to a remote and eerie mansion on the outskirts of my town. Despite a sense of unease, I couldn't afford to turn down the job. As I navigated through the winding roads, a dense fog rolled in, reducing visibility to a mere few feet. The GPS led me deeper into the desolate countryside, and I began to question if I was on the right path. Finally, I arrived at the address for the delivery. It was a mansion, a hauntingly grand estate shrouded in darkness. The eerie silence unsettled me, but I summoned up all my courage and approached the door, determined to complete the delivery. The mansion's door creaked open, revealing an old man with piercing eyes and a sinister grin. He beckoned me inside. Initially, I hesitated, but I followed him nonetheless. My unease grew, and I knew something wasn't right, yet the old man insisted that I stay for a meal. As I sat at the dining table, the old man served a plate of strange-looking dishes. My instincts screamed at me to leave, but I couldn't bring myself to refuse the man's hospitality. As I tasted the food, a wave of dizziness washed over me, and the room began to spin. My vision blurred, and the old man's grin widened into a malevolent smile. Realizing that I was in danger, I mustered all my strength and tried to leave, but my body wouldn't obey. The old man revealed his true nature. He was a sadistic individual. Summoning every ounce of strength, I broke free from the nausea that I was experiencing and stumbled away from the man. In the depths of the mansion, I discovered a hidden cellar, filled with the remains of previous food delivery drivers, their faces frozen in terror. As I made my way back through the mansion, in an attempt to flee, the old man's haunting laughter echoed through the mansion. With each step I took, the laughter seemed to be getting closer, but I had no choice but to press forward in order to escape. Eventually, I burst through the mansion's front doors and into the stormy night. I ran until I reached my car. As I drove away, the old mansion seemed to fade into the darkness, a haunting memory of my terrifying encounter. I knew I would never forget the food delivery horror story that I had lived through on that stormy night. I like to work for delivery apps in the evenings because I can make a little extra cash after my normal work schedule. On a cold winter night, I received an unusual order to a secluded cabin nestled deep in the woods. Despite a sense of unease, I couldn't decline the job. I could really use the extra money to help afford gifts for my family during the holiday season. As I drove down winding and snow-covered roads, the forest loomed ominously around me. Darkness seemed to swallow the cabin, making it barely visible from the main road. Finally, I arrived at the cabin, its exterior adorned with eerie symbols and decorations that sent shivers down my spine. Ignoring my unease, I approached the door and knocked softly. The door creaked open, revealing a pale, elderly man with hollow eyes. He welcomed me inside, his voice barely above a whisper. I noticed strange carvings on the wall, and the scent of herbs filled the air. Trying to be polite, I agreed to share a meal with the man. As we ate, he asked me about my family, my dreams, and my fears. His questions grew increasingly personal, and unease gnawed at me. As the night wore on, the man's demeanor changed, his eyes darkening with malevolence. Realizing I was likely about to be in grave danger, I attempted to leave, but the man's malevolent laughter echoed through the cabin. The man slammed the door shut, and I found myself trapped. Desperate to escape, I mustered all my courage and dashed past the man and ran out the door. I ran back to my car, turned it on, and floored it out of there, vowing to never speak of the haunting experience. From that night on, I have always been haunted by the encounter, forever wary of secluded places and the dark secrets they might hold. This serves as a reminder of the malevolence that could lurk behind even the seemingly most ordinary of deliveries. I work as a pizza delivery driver. On a moonless night in the heart of the city that I live in, I navigated the dimly lit streets. An unsettling sensation washed over me. The GPS in my car led me to a desolate part of town, where abandoned buildings loomed like forgotten ghosts. Arriving at the address, I hesitated, my instincts urging me to turn back, but with a stack of deliveries behind schedule, I couldn't afford to waste more time. Suppressing my unease, I approached the decrepit building, its windows boarded up like eyes sealed shut. I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, it creaked open with an eerie groan. A cold gust of wind welcomed me, sending shivers down my spine. Inside, I found a dimly lit hallway, the air heavy with mustiness and something else, a faint, unsettling odor. "Hello?" I called out, clutching the pizza box tightly. There was no response, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. As I cautiously explored the building, I stumbled upon a room filled with flickering candles and strange symbols etched into the floor. The room felt charged with an inexplicable energy. A sinister chill ran down my spine. Just as I turned to leave, the door slammed shut behind me. Panic surged through me as I pounded on the door, but it wouldn't budge. I was trapped. A haunting laughter echoed throughout the halls, growing louder with each passing second. My heart pounded in my chest, and a sickening realization dawned upon me. I was not alone. From the shadows emerged a figure, a disheveled man with wild eyes and a sinister grin. The man's laughter sent chills down my spine as he stepped closer, his presence exuding malevolence. "What do you want from me?" I stammered, trying to mask my fear. The man's grin widened, revealing rotten teeth. The man's grin never wavered. "Your wallet in exchange for your freedom," he said, holding out a blood-stained hand to receive my wallet. My heart sank. This was no ordinary pizza delivery. This was a nightmarish encounter, and my life was at stake. Desperation clouded my judgment, and I found myself handing over my wallet. With a sinister chuckle, the man swung open the front door, granting me the ability to escape. Back in my car, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in my soul. The road ahead seemed to stretch on endlessly, and the street lights casted ominous shadows on the pavement.